Morning. Welcome to Mornings with Marvel, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Let me make sure the sound is all the way down and the thing is off because these pieces of equipment make a lot of noise. Listen. Can you feel my excitement? Can you feel the excitement that I am feeling right now? Today is season 2 finale, the release of our video with Freeway, Leslie Pridgeon Jr., Philly Freeway. We put out a teaser on Sunday. We got an incredible amount of feedback on my social media pages on Monday, yesterday. People began texting me, sending me messages on WhatsApp, sending me messages on my phone about how wonderful this is. In fact, just as I was going live this morning, someone sent me something else, and I'm going to read it to you because I saw it coming in, but I was getting ready. She said, just wow, just finished listening. Wanted to get it in before the show. You covered all the aspects of his life, personality, professional, and spiritual. He's a great ambassador for organ donation awareness. He has a very unique perspective of being on both sides. That was just 2 minutes ago. I got that. Yeah, Tamara says season 2 finale was fire. I'm telling you, if you have not subscribe to the A.Lawful Truth podcast. You can either subscribe for free or you can be a paid subscriber. It is totally up to you. But let me tell you something. This episode, this podcast episode, the season finale with Philly Freeway, was all at once. It shifted even how I thought, how I feel. Good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Tiffany. It shifted my way of thinking. I thought, you ever just think sometimes you're kind and you're doing certain things and you're helping people? Freeway gave me such a different perspective around, being diabetic, about taking care of yourself, about organ donation. You've got to go listen to this thing. We gave you a snippet of it on Sunday on my social media pages. You've just got to go take a listen to it. You'll find it on Substack, alawfultruth.substack.com. You'll find it on Spotify, and you'll find it on Apple, right? And the feedback, oh my gosh. Towards the end, you'll hear how impacted I was. We were both incredibly impacted by this conversation that we had. And I just want to let you all know, sometimes when my team, shout out to Sarita and to Eric, who just, killed the game. Killed the game in terms of, because we got it done in such a short notice, in terms of editing it. They were having conversations with me about how they felt maybe they should become organ donors, in their young ages. It was just, let me calm down. And then my friend Antoine Johnson, who is himself in the throes of wanting a kidney, needing a kidney badly. He is in stage 5 renal failure. I interviewed him. It made him tear up. He said, Andrea, this thing was so good. It was so incredibly good. Everybody feels like what they've done is the best thing that has ever been done. And so I'm going to transparently tell you that when I got the interview with Freeway, I didn't really know. And I told him this too. I told him in our interview, I listen, this is going to be an auntie conversation because my children know you. I was too busy raising children. He appreciated my authenticity and my openness in having the conversation. I was transparent with him. I remember me telling you guys a few last week that I was my son was not talking to me. I wasn't talking to him, and how I had to gather myself and recognize that I was doing some things that my father had done to me and that I had to unlearn some of those behaviors. I shared that with him, in one sentence, that my son and I were talking to each other. And I remember reaching out to the team after I interviewed him and saying, I gotta go and dig in the soil. It is one of the interviews that I think I will hold on to for the rest of my life. We have to, there's a judgment that comes when we see people and they say that they're rappers. Right. And so I began researching him, and I was listening to some of his music, and I became a Freeway fan. His music of today is very thought provoking about the struggles that he has gone through, what he's seen happen in life. He talks about what you needed to do if you wanted to become an independent contractor versus, being with a record label. working for a company versus owning your own stuff. I mean, he was resonating with me. He talked about relationships and how they matter. He said what I have said to all of you over and over again. It does not matter how many degrees you have or how much money you have. This was from my dearly departed mother. All the money in the world won't open rooms for you like your authenticity can, like your kindness can, like building with authentic relationships can. And so I need you all to go watch this thing. It is, it is, and April, it's April 1st. This is organ donor month. April is organ donor month tomorrow. And I'll put up this flyer later on this morning. Once I get access to it, he's having an event in New York City with, Al Sharpton and Al B. Shore, about kidney donation. When he said it, I was like, oh my God, that's why Al Sharpton lost all that weight. And I'll be sure I knew had been transparent about, his kidney transplant. The thing about us in our community is that we literally have to take care of our bodies. I loved when he said he was transparent about needing an organ donation, because he had, abused they had told him he had diabetes and that he had hypertension, and he was diagnosed early, like early 30s, if not 29 years old. By the time he was 37, he was in dire need of a kidney. I keep having this conversation with all of you. I keep showing all of you I am diabetic. I have said this over and again. I make no bones about it. And I tell you this because publicly, if you see me out there eating all the things I'm not supposed to be eating, go tap me, Mom, Marva. Now, I've been really good because I watched my mother die from complications to diabetes 2 years ago. It's coming up on the date. She lived to 81 with all her limbs intact, so I'm grateful for that. But, I just wanted to make sure that I took care of myself. And so I was sharing that with him, right? We cannot take diabetes. We cannot take diabetes as if it's just a normal cold. You can go for a couple of years doing all the things you want to do and taking the medication and doing the insulin, and still doing the same wrong things. That was the recipe for disaster, because when your body starts breaking down, every time you eat what you're not supposed to eat, your body reacts to it. It's not making the insulin. It's messing with your kidneys. It's messing with your liver. It's messing. You can have a stroke. You can have a heart attack. You can lose your limbs. And so I say this all the time. Please, my sister Karen says we dig our grave with our forks with the things that we eat. Nobody's judging you about what you're eating. Well, yeah, I'm being judgy this morning. Yes, I'm being judgy because you only have 2 kidneys, 1 liver, 1 heart, right? 1 brain. And so it's been very difficult. And doctors have said very transparently to me that Black people just don't pay attention, and they just continue to eat and take the insulin and eat and take the metformin and eat. And so that's why there's so many dialysis clinics in our communities. They're laced throughout our communities. And so when Freeway began talking transparently about what he had done to get to the place where he needed a kidney transplant. And I'm also, yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sarita. She said, April is National Donate Life Month. Please join Andrea in honoring this month by sharing the episode with Philadelphia Freeway far and wide. I do. I want you to make sure that everybody gets a copy of this. People are texting me all over the place. I am stunned by the things that came out of it. I sent it to my son. He sent a message to my son in the end. Ooh, don't cry. Don't cry. He sent a message to my son in the end because I didn't really know who he was. Monica says, who, who? Monica says, I have to be honest, I have never heard of him. I asked my children about him and was shocked. Right. Same thing with me. My son was like, what do you mean? I grew up on Freeway. He is a legend in Philadelphia. And so I said to my son at that point, I said, I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to do the interview. It's just going to be a conversation with him, which is what I did. Right. Someone says the Freeway clip was powerful. We'll be listening to the full podcast today or tomorrow. Get it in, my sister, our brother, because I don't know who you are. You just have your. Marguerite says, my husband died from complication of diabetes and end-stage renal failure. Please share it with other people. Let them see it. Talk about it. Melissa says, Freeway is a good rapper and how his music truly connects with the people. Yeah, he had one song that I was listening to and bouncing to the whole time I was researching him. And so I'm grateful to all of you. Good morning to Alexandra. Good morning, Mother, and everyone. Diabetes, kidney disease, and heart disease and family health history, along with various cancers. Right. And so I knew that hypertension and diabetes runs in my family. So once I was diagnosed in 2019, my mother called me and she said, What killed my kidneys was this medication that they were giving me to take. I was doing all the things. My mother walked every day, 5 miles a day. She was just doing all the things. Her blood sugar levels were fine, but they had her on a medication that literally took her kidneys out, right? So she said to me, whatever you can do, Andrea, continue to exercise, eat well, and stay as long as you possibly can without having to be on medication. I am now 6 years in, no medication. A1C is cool as ever. When you see me post my videos, it's to encourage you to walk, exercise. Do you think I like it? There's not one day I go in the gym and say, oh, let me just get up and go walk. Uh, and so just do it. If you want me to hike with you, we will hike. Go join We Walk PHL. Freeway has consistently said he is trying to educate the community. He talked about family members that died from diabetes. He knew this was in his family, right? And on top of all of that, there's a tragedy with his son. When he talked about his son and how he donated his son's organs as a direct result, of what he had to do to look for an organ. That was the snippet we put out on Sunday. Tamara says, everyone I sent it says your interview style is very comfortable and thoughtful. They don't even know each other, right? We didn't. Yeah. Carlene says that was a very powerful interview. You covered all aspects of his life, personal, professional, and spiritual. Laura, good to see you. I'm going to let David in, but I'm telling you, this thing was so incredibly powerful. So I sent the episode to my son. I sent it to his friends, and one of his friends said, yo, I can't wait to listen to this because I know it's going to be a powerful conversation. And so I want to thank Hania Sharp Brown. I want to thank his publicist, who was just so gracious and kind. I want to thank Freeway himself for just being so openly transparent. We're going to show some snippets of the video and you'll see his emotion in some of them. You know, he just literally, I cried as he was crying, and I just kept saying softly, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to open up. And he said, it's okay. But I asked him before we got into the interview, is there anything that's off limits for you? And he said no. And so that brother, for me, I have become a Freeway fan. I went from not knowing who he was to becoming a Freeway fan, and I'm going to follow his work. I am going to share. I'm going to share his whatever he's doing, and I'm going to share the flyer for tomorrow in New York City. It's 90 minutes from here. You want to go be a part of that? I'll send it out, and so you can get it. Tamara says the people that made the same comment don't know each other. Oh, that watched the video. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to all of you. As a team on A Lawful Truth, I have a small but powerful team, and as we get to the end of season 2. I also want to say this to you. We work as a team. I don't know everything. And I'm very transparent with them about not knowing everything. What I know, right? But in order for us to get to where we are 5 months later, I had to listen to the people who had been, having the conversations, who know the community, who knows how certain things work that I'm not aware of, so that we can move this podcast in a way that it needs to. I am so proud of where we are. So, Hania Sharp Brown, Sarita Martin, Denise James, that's Channel 6 Denise James, Eric Nixon, and the newest person that is booking my interview so that I don't have to worry about that. I transparently need what is that person called? A personal assistant, because I'm telling you, Sarita laughed at me this morning. I literally am working 4 jobs. 4. Right? Total Jamaican. Just working 4 jobs trying to get myself together. Marguerite says, transparently, that's why I am in the gym and have someone prep my food. Because managing this diabetes diagnosis is priority number 1. I don't want to kill myself and die prematurely. And I'm very proud of you, Marguerite. And I'm asking you, for anybody who is fighting with this thing, please, y'all are laughing at listen, Joanna. Marva's out here working her tail feathers off. You see me, I get off the air. Yesterday I was in my car. I had 2 meetings on the phone. I had to stop at another place and have another meeting. People were calling. People wanted this, people wanted that. I'm looking at my calendar and I'm going, ain't no way, Jesus, ain't no way. And then emergencies pop up. So I have an emergency meeting on Thursday and then got a call at 8 o'clock last night for another emergency. And I'm like, yo, And so I need someone to help me manage myself because it's a lot and I'm forgetting, because it's too many things and I'm putting it in the calendar. I'm going back and forth. So bear with me. If you're sending me messages and I am not responding, total Jamaican, Charmaine, I'm telling you, and I'm not responding in the moment, do not think I am ignoring you. I am literally working. I'm not just, this is the podcast and the mornings with Mother is just two of several things that I do every single day, right? Working my tail feathers off. Absolutely. So, and if someone calls and says, I need your help to do such and such and such. And when it comes to children, there is no, I can't, I'm popping in and going, all right, let's see. Joanna says, I speak about how you kick diabetes butt all the time. I will never forget those hikes during COVID. You did that. I did. And I'm continuing to get it in. And, I go to see the chiropractor and I, work out 3 days a week with Audra. I'm going back on my bicycle when I have a minute to get on the trail with my friends because all of that is helpful. All work and no play makes diva a dull girl, right? And so I want you all to learn from my example. There are people who said to me, why would you tell people you're diabetic? Why would I not? Hmm? Why would I not? What is there to hide when it can save a life, especially since I'm out in the public eye and people see me all the time? It is what it is. So I'm really, ooh, yes, Lord, I'm coming to you, David. I see you, as we go along. But season 2 finale. The finale is here. It's on Substack. It's on the Spotify and it's on Apple. I'm so grateful. So grateful. It is Philly Freeway. The thing is hot. It is a great video that we should really it's true though, Sarita. I'm trying. And my team is so patient with me because I'll go the other day, last week, just to tell you how busy I am. Last week I said to them, how do you do a calendar invite again? Something I'm supposed to know, right? But my brain is so full and I'm not ashamed to ask when I need something. Melissa says, that's why I love you so much, Andrea, because you are transparent. I love the podcast. Keep them coming. I'm going through a head crisis and every single podcast helped me so far. Thank you, my sister. Another woman called me yesterday and she said, I met you in the Wafe hair salon and I took a picture with you and I sent it and I was hoping that this was your number. And she began sharing her husband passed away. She's not tech savvy. She didn't know how to she said, I was listening to your shows every day before you left the radio station. And she said, I just want to hear you talk about the things that you talk about. And I sat down and I promise you I was getting ready to take 2 minutes to myself. And I sat down and I sent her about 30 things, episodes of the podcast, episodes of Mornings with Mother, so she could just listen because she's really in a bad place. It doesn't take much for us to treat people well. I keep telling y'all this. It really does not. And so I'm grateful. And she says, thank you so much. And then I go and I see another lady and she says, Andrea, I covered my head. I was like, but it's you have to know. And I'm grateful to everybody that, sees me and wants to talk. I'm grateful that you are being impacted by the work, but know that I'm not doing it by myself. There's a whole team of people behind me, And we do nothing. We don't shortchange our clients. We make sure that we plan in advance. We are thorough. We investigate, we research, we ask, so that when you look at it, because they realize that my name is at the head of that thing, and they want to make sure that everything is done in decency and in order, because they get it right. Monica says, that's why I tune in daily. You walk in your truth, authenticity. You make me feel uncrazy. I just love you. Alexandra says, the same reason I shared with family and friends. Cholesterol is genetic. I've gotten back to normal with plant-based foods and exercise. Yes. So I'm going to let David in now. But thank you all for, enjoying this conversation with me. Go season 2 finale, Philly Freeway. Go check it out and share it with everybody. And as you are sharing it on Instagram and LinkedIn, tag me in LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, all of it. Let me know that you're sharing it and getting other people to listen to it, right? All right, let me let David Alexander Jenkins in now, because yesterday we had Dr. Randall Pinkett and had to push David off to the side. Well, hell.
Hello. Good morning.
Look at that.
Yes.
Oh, good morning, darling.
Hello. Hello.
Good
You know
morning.
what a time. What a time we exist in.
So you just shared something with me that hold on, hold on, hold
All is
on.
allowed.
There's a whole lot going on out here. Um, the EU urges all citizens to prepare for war. And then there was a another
Well,
conversation. I think I sent it to you where they're saying that April 20th is going to be the day for us. Did you see that? Okay. All right. Let's talk. Let's talk. Now we're
let's
going
talk.
seriously. Uh,
Well, and let's add one plus one, right? Because what we know about calculation is that math works. The President of the United States has told us that he is going to seek a third term.
yes,
And he
that
tells
was
us
on
that there are,
Sunday.
that's right, that's on Sunday. He tells us that there are conditions for when a president can seek a third term. Those conditions have only appeared once, and it was World War II. It was when
Hmm.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt
Put
decided
we can hardly hear you.
It was when Franklin Delano
Thank you.
Roosevelt decided that he was going to run a third and then successive fourth term as president because we were in World War II. And so the powers of war, the American despot, if you will, all of us across the states tend not to want to switch presidents in the midst of war, which was his first reason for why he ran a third term. But then he ran a fourth and won that. And at that point, the Constitution of the United States added the amendment that would not allow, in the 22nd Amendment, would not allow a president to successfully run more than two terms. That is a stop on a president becoming a king. Um, Donald Trump has told us he'd like to be a king. Donald Trump has told us he'd like to run a third term and perhaps never leave office. Donald Trump has told us that there are conditions upon which a president could be president for three terms, and that condition would be World War II. And now the European Union has told its citizens, all 740 million people, to prepare for war. They're not joking, by the way. People are going and getting provisions at the store. They put out a list of what you need, of how to survive at least 72 hours of an attack. This was a statement which was spoken by the president of the UN and echoed throughout many different places. People that are emergency prepared shops have begun to do their work. The King and Queen of Denmark are in France currently on a state visit. Why? Well, you know, Greenland is a part of Denmark. And the French are a very big portion of national security for the EU. So that's an army that would fight on behalf of the European Union. And they are making sure that they have all the ties and all the ducks in a row to be able to be sure. Right, so
Hmm.
this is the public side of what's happening behind the doors. So when you see these sudden state visits of all of these European monarchs, right? We saw all of the European people go to King Charles the Sandringham Palace just a couple weeks ago. This is the run up for what is happening. April 20th seems like a day set into stone about when we would make some shifts and some moves. Um, but I want you to know that this is a sobering time, not a time for sort of conjecture and crazy kind of sideways thoughts. This is not a time for you to run around in a circle and say, what do I do? It is a time for you to get your butt to that grocery store and get those canned goods yesterday. Now, Andrea told you, I told you, everybody told you for the last six
Yes.
months. But this really was the shot heard around the world that we were all thinking would come. And over the weekend, the European Union made their shot and said to their citizens, prepare for war.
And Canada did their shot by saying they're no longer in good standing with the United States, that they are moving away from us. And so, as citizens of this country, as you go about your business and where them things at, stand on, do your boots on the ground. But we also need you to be prepared because what's coming, it seems unfathomable. And that people are, and look, the president of the United States has never been shy to say, this is what I'm doing.
No.
He has shown up every week and said, this is where we're going now. This is where we're going now. For that part, I'm not mad at him because he said this was going to happen. He said out of his mouth, this is what we're going to do. And people said, okay, we're ready for it. We're going to do all of these things. And now people are losing their minds. You heard me talking to Dr. Randall Pinkett yesterday, who said 70% of his business is DEI, right? He has had to adjust. We have all had to adjust. We want you now to think about merging your businesses and finding ways to help each other within your communities. We're there. We're here. We're absolutely here. And so, I, David, I don't know what to say to people to, because someone texted me after our show a couple of weeks ago and said people are so frightened by what you're saying that they
They
just
should be.
stopped. They
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 should be.
they they froze and don't know where to start. So we tell you, go to the market, stock up on your food. You can already see without anything happening that food has gone out of control. That but nobody's complaining. It's almost like, well, it's fait accompli. That if you want to buy a car right now, it's 25% more expensive than it was last year. The tariffs are taking effect. You go to the market, and the food that you would get for $80 is now $160 or more, and you're getting less food for more money. We have asked you, we have said, and when we say get your canned goods or can your, put your in your jar your fruits and put them and save them, save them. We're coming upon a time when all of this.
I'll give you an example. I went to the grocery store yesterday
Mhm.
because I'm a person who believes you should be prepared for yourself and for your neighbors. And I went to what was once the dollar can aisle. You guys know this aisle. It's the one where there's a 99-cent can of, right? And the 99-cent can of is now $2 a can, by the way. But also, half the shelf was empty.
Yes.
The dry and condensed milk was missing.
Yes.
The things. So I found myself in two grocery stores yesterday collecting these sorts of things. But I
Mhm.
made sure that I bought, chicken, canned chicken.
Yes.
I bought canned salmon. I,
Yes.
I bought canned carrots and corn and
Mhm.
peas and rice.
Mhm.
I bought rice. Rice, why rice? Because rice you can actually soak in water long enough that it becomes edible. So if
Mhm.
you run out of other things, the bunches of
Mhm.
rice are always great. Get instant rice; it's quicker,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Things like those are the sorts of provision things that you need: matches and baby wipes and
Yes.
sanitary wipes. All of those sorts of things are the things
Mhm.
because when you can't take a bath because your water tap isn't working because it's electric pumped, you're going to say, "Uh-oh, how do I wash my arm?" Well, that
Mhm.
baby wipe is
Mhm.
suddenly become very important to you. Things like
Mhm.
toilet paper. And you remember when
Mhm.
pandemic happened. When the pandemic happened and we were not at war, you could
Mhm.
not wipe your butt because
Mhm.
there was no toilet paper. There was no
Mhm.
paper product. With the new
Mhm.
tariffs that are coming in
Mhm.
tomorrow,
Mhm.
right? Not yesterday, the day before, but tomorrow, when those new
Mhm.
tariffs begin to drop and go into effect on Thursday, those real prices will go through the roof. The market
Mhm.
is already having a fit today. The
Mhm.
Dow is having a fit today. The S&P
Mhm.
500 is having a fit today. The only thing that's doing well is gold. How do we know that? But the truth of what is happening now is that now is the time that you prepare your house for the winter storm, the storm that is
Mhm.
imminent. And why they say why isn't it that the American government isn't warning us about these same things? Well, because the American government is the sham that's doing this in the first place. Europe, all of Europe, is saying to its citizenry, no, 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 this is not a joke. Do it now.
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah.
being broadcast on American television. You've got to look at
Yeah.
Al Jazeera. You've got to look at the BBC. You've got to look at European news. You've got to look at news in German, right? So if any of you are listening to the sound of our voice, just Google European Union prepares its
Mhm.
citizenry for war, and it will give you a
Mhm.
full list of the things that you need to do.
Hold
Oh,
on
you're
one
hitting.
second, David. Somebody says, where do you get matches? Oh, Dollar Tree, any supermarket will sell matches. You just never looked for it. Um, and
Often
and
behind
and
the counter, if you can't find it in the
yes,
aisle, if you go to the
yes.
service desk, they'll have them there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Someone says there's a lot of food not being stocked, but we told you this was coming, right? I went shopping for the first time and purchased the last oat milk. So, like David was talking about the dried, the powder milk. Growing up in on the island, we did a lot of powder milk, and so as soon as you said it, I was like, there you go, because you just mix it with water. And my
That's it.
oldest son, my mother used to make it for him. I want the powder milk, and she says, no, you're constipated. And he said, it's have you don't have it, or it's mixed you don't want to mix it. He was 2 years old. And so, but those are the nutritional things when you don't have access to the canned goods. Thank you for reminding me of that, David. I will look into that today. My grandchildren love yogurt. There's powdered yogurt. You mix it
Yes.
with water, and they're able to eat as much of it as they want. We have to think in terms of that.
Granola. Peanut butter. A can of peanut butter is one of the best things you can use for survival. It's full of
Mm-hmm.
protein. It's something that's
Mm-hmm.
gluten.
Mm-hmm.
So peanut butter is super important.
Mm-hmm.
Granola. Granola is one of those things that you can eat as a handful and will sustain you. We're not
Mm-hmm.
talking about you cooking a feast for Sunday afternoon.
Child, not that, not that. We're not
This
doing
is not
that.
what we're doing right now. Right now, we're
Mm-hmm.
preparing for what happens when you cannot get food. Because what will
Mm-hmm.
eventually happen is they'll get the breadline, you'll get the government assistance. That will happen, right? That's always what happens. And then, they drop things off. They're probably closer to your central city hall areas, your
David, do you
neighborhood
hear
town
yourself?
centers.
Are you hearing yourself? Do you
I know,
hear
I
how
know. The
how
topic.
yes.
Yeah, I do. And that's the part that's scary because we're now in a place where you and I have these conversations in a calm manner. Um, because our brains are preset to go through the
Mhm,
storm with calmness,
mhm,
with steadiness, with surety,
mhm,
and then on
mhm.
the other side to break down.
Yeah.
Um, so I find myself saying to you, go to the lifeboat again.
Mhm,
Before I say go to the lifeboat because we were hit by an iceberg and it seemed that the watertight
mhm.
doors wouldn't hold. Now the watertight doors are not holding. So please
Yeah.
stop going to the dining room to get another drink. Instead, this time
Mm,
go to the lifeboat. And so when the European Union sends out a message like this, it behooves us to say to you, who otherwise would not receive this news if you're not looking at world news, that you need to go to. Andrea, what was really interesting to me, I noticed that if you do not have cable television, all you get is Fox News. In Philadelphia, all you get is Fox News. And it dawned on me how much news was missing from Fox News when I was going through trying to say, where can I send people to
yeah.
hear this news? I have to literally send them to the internet and to Al Jazeera, to BBC,
And so what
to One
happens when
News.
the internet gets shut down? Because folks think that can't happen. What happens then?
There you go. Where's your news
We're
information?
trying to stop you from getting into a panic. This government is telling you what they're planning to do and
We
how
are
they're going
not
to do it.
we are not shopping at Walmart. However,
Mhm,
Walmart does have a charger which you can order have delivered to you for $17. It is a solar charging unit. They
mhm,
have another one for 20 something odd dollars that will charge your cell phone without access
mhm,
to electricity. What happens when electricity
mhm,
goes out? Get to your window and put your solar panel up.
mhm,
$17, people, order it today, have it delivered to you, right? This is something you
mhm,
can carry with you in your emergency kit. Um,
mhm.
you need to have candles on hand. They don't need to be scented. They can be the dollar store candles. Just
Right,
make sure,
right.
right? You put a candle in a jar, okay? You add a little bit of oil. You let it melt all the way down in that jar.
Mhm.
You add a little bit of oil and a teeny bit of water to the top of that, and light the wick. The candle will not burn out.
Mm.
That candle will burn and burn and burn
I
and
love
burn.
that. So you put the candle in the jar,
You
you
let it
add the
liquefy.
water,
Let it
let it
liquefy first,
liquefy. Okay.
right? Add a
And
little bit
then,
of oil,
mm-hmm.
olive oil, whatever oil you have in the kitchen, like tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of oil, and then another tablespoon and 2 tablespoons of water on top of the oil, and it will not burn down. It takes a
Look at you
very
though.
long time for it to burn those things down. So these are the things you do to make a lamp, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a candle right now that's burning on my piano as a warmer because I have candle warmers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, what keeps that from going all the way up, that warming candle warmer is sitting there, but it's got a little bit of oil and a little bit of water, and it's been here for a year, still going.
Oh, look at you though.
So these are the things, right? And I
So
live in a
just
very
stop for a second. Let me be clear so that folks get clear. You get the candle. There's a wick in the candle. What do you do with
There's a
the
wick in the
wick? As
candle. It stays
so.
there. So when you liquefy the candle, just like you were going to burn it anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Set it
Mm-hmm.
on fire, the whole candle will become liquid, and you'll see the
Mm-hmm.
wick standing up. That
Mm-hmm.
wick should be tall enough to be able to put 2 teaspoons of oil there
Mm-hmm.
and not burn and not take the wick out, right? You should still be
Mm-hmm.
able to put another teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of water on top of that, and the wick will not have hit the water yet. Because the water and the oil is there, when the wick begins to get low enough, it cools down and doesn't burn through. So the candle remains liquefied, the light remains on, and the wick is still lit. So it slows down the rate of burn.
Ooh. And Marguerite says, get used to taking cold showers. The hot water heater runs on electricity and gas.
And the
Amen,
water
somebody.
pump runs on electricity and gas. So get used to a bird bath.
Hey.
Get a hot plate.
Yep. Yep.
You can charge your hot plate. You can plug it right into your solar power device,
Okay. Okay.
and you can turn on your hot plate and cook your can of whatever on your hot plate.
Yes. Yes.
You have to live like a camper. You need to
Yes.
pretend you were going out to the woods for a week. What would you
Mm-hmm.
take with you to the woods to
Mm-hmm.
survive the week? For
How
many of
many
you all
people?
set fire.
Most of the folks who live in the rural communities, when we were driving across the country, traveling across the country, that was mostly a bunch of white folks who are out there living off the grid and have been living off the grid for years.
Yeah,
For years. They will be absolutely ready. Right.
it will
And
be.
so we're trying to tell people in these urban environments, okay, how do you live without electricity? Don't scream and say, oh my God. Because we've been trying to get you aware. Charmin says, candle in a jar, meltdown, add 2 teaspoons of water, 2 teaspoons of oil. Luminade
Oil
has a
first.
oil
Important.
first and then the
Oil before
water.
water. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Luminade has a solar charger for phones, and they also have similar products that provide light. I have several. What the hell? What is Luminade?
It's a company.
Okay. Yeah. And the companies are making $1 zillion. This is the time they're making up. You have a product that people are going to need. They're making money hand over foot right now.
Now, I want to say something else, dear black people. There will be a march of 1 million people
On April 5th.
on April 5th. And if I find not one of you all outside, one of you in that march, I'm going to come to your house and whoop your behind. You hear me? Don't go out there. Don't don't do it. Don't put your black self not 1 foot outside your door. You grab yourself a glass of champagne and turn on your TV and sit down. This is not your fight. Don't
Yeah.
do it. Don't let me catch
Yeah.
not one of you out there.
I think the
One
message has been
sprinkle of
said
pepper.
and spread over and again.
If I find your pepper ass in that bowl of grits, I'm coming out there to speak to you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Sit down because they're going to blame you, the
Yeah.
sprinkle of pepper in the
Mhm.
bowl full of grits,
Mm,
for whatever happens on that day. Do not allow yourself to be caught up in the moment. Sit down to
mm,
that. That is the day in which you will rest.
mm,
Like Jesus built the earth and then he rested. Remember, on the seventh day he rested. This is your seventh day. Go on, rest now. Don't
yeah.
allow yourself to be caught up in the twinkling of an eye. Don't do it. Don't
I
do
think
it.
I think most black people understand that. Most people of color understand it. I hope so. We have been resting since November. We've just kind of sat down. First of all, we were so filled with angst about what could possibly be coming as a direct result of all of this. And I find it interesting. We don't hear from the Obamas. Madam Vice President has disappeared.
That's right.
Everybody's just kind of sitting there going,
R and R. Rex,
rest
living a soft
relaxation.
life today. Okay? Meghan Markle is the only one. We're going to sit
Yeah.
and live a soft life. We're going to pack our berries and close our door. Don't go out there. Don't do it. You prepare
Yeah.
your house on the inside. All this stuff I'm telling you today is about you preparing your own self on your inside. Do not let Andrea or I catch your behind. We will talk about you. we will. We will. We're going to talk
It
about you in
is.
public. Don't do it.
And if you have business out that day, make sure you steer clear of all of that. Don't find yourself anywhere near any of these demonstrations. Please,
Cancel
I'm
your
begging. This,
business.
yeah, yeah,
Cancel
yeah.
your, make your business to be in the bed. My business that day is to be in the bed. That's where I'm gonna be, sitting in the bed. They're not going to find not a one of us. No, 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 no. Because
Mm,
every time historically something like this has happened, the
mm,
blame gets put on the colored people for
yeah,
inciting their friends, the white people. No, no,
mm,
no. I think the white girls should go out there and fight this fight. It is their fight. Y'all
yeah,
chose this madness. Go out there and fix this madness. You want to
yeah.
send some of those people who were Puerto Rican and Venezuelan out there, go on out there, Venezuelans, because y'all put us in the same stuff too. So yeah, go on out there, fight the fight. If I catch your brown behind out there, the minute I see you, go say, "Oh, hi, David. How you doing? Did I see you on the street?" 'Cause don't do it. It's my public service now. Don't do it. Don't let me catch that.
Whew.
So yes, be prepared. Yes, Donald Trump has signaled in every single way, shape, and form that he is prepared for us to go to war. He has not backed down, not one iota, off this
Not
idea
one.
of
Mhm.
annexing Greenland, which, by the way, is a part of the country of Denmark.
Denmark.
Denmark
Yeah.
is a large part of the EU.
Mhm.
Denmark is meeting currently with France in a state visit, right, where the King and Queen of Denmark are being hosted by the President of France,
Mhm.
right? The King of England is King of Ireland, which is one of the biggest places where these tariffs hit. King of Canada, which is where these
Mhm.
tariffs are also hitting. King of Australia and King of New Zealand. So when we think of the UK, I don't want us to think that. So when you start to mess with those countries, you realize, oh my goodness, they're all part of the United Kingdom in some shape or way. They're the Commonwealth
Mhm.
nations with
Mhm.
one sovereign. That sovereign cannot be seen to be entertaining the
Mhm.
president of the United States while
Mhm.
people are blowing up his other nations. Europe
Mhm.
is coming together with Great Britain, with its allies, and we are off of the list. We're not
Yeah.
invited to this party. We are the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Someone says, don't forget your fire and waterproof security box for your important papers and financial information,
That's right.
and how to create fire
Yeah,
to cook.
that's it.
People are, using these little the sternos and they're putting them in little hot plates to cook. I am telling you, you can start a fire with leaves and twigs. We're thinking the cute ways of doing
A
this.
magnifying
All
glass
of
for
that, right?
leaves.
Listen, because those things are going to run out. Eventually, your sternos are going to run out. I need you to figure out how to start a fire without charcoal briquettes and without all those things. Get some leaves, get your matches. Make sure, so you need to have matches on hand. And remember, this is not going to be over in 20 days or 30 days. Like we have to think long term.
The thing
Uh,
about sterno, and the reason why I would say if you can get to sterno, do it, is because for those of us who do not live in independent houses, setting a fire inside your home to cook
that's true.
is a problem. So
Thank you,
if you are an
David. I
apartment
didn't
dweller
think,
or a
yeah.
condo dweller, this and the other,
Mm-hmm.
please do go get those sterno at the dollar
Mm-hmm.
store. Get all those things. Get those candles that you
Mm-hmm.
can put a plate on top of the candle. Do whatever you have
Mm-hmm.
to do, right? Because you cannot set a fire inside your apartment. That would be
That's
a
true.
disaster.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So
Powder. What am I
yeah.
thinking? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
powdered
just, I'm
milk if
just,
you want to get that down there. One of the
yeah, I'm
biggest things:
writing this
peanut
down.
butter, peanut butter, peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
You can give a spoonful of peanut butter to somebody who is hungry, and they will be okay. And it
Mm-hmm.
has all the nutrients you need in to keep moving forward
Mm-hmm.
for a moment. So
But there's
peanut
so
butter,
many people who are allergic to all kinds of nuts and tree nuts, etc.
true.
So that wouldn't work for them. But
Granola is your next best bet.
mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
can't get to that, if you can't take in your nutrient with granola, also ensure buy up the Ensure. When you have run out of all the other food in your house,
Mm-hmm.
start drinking Ensure
Okay.
because
Okay.
that has the nutrients in it to carry you through one day.
Ooh, child. Ooh. I before I forget, I wanted to share this with all of you because even in the midst of this, life is going on as normal in the city of Philadelphia. And so there are budget meetings. The mayor is having budget meetings. Be quiet, David. She's having one on Thursday, April 3rd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. At 7105 Lambkin Pike. And then the the ninth district budget town hall meeting she's having on April 3rd at 7105 Lambkin Pike. And the 8th District Budget Town Hall meeting is happening Thursday, May 8th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Lindy Academy Charter School at Bernie, 900 Lindy Avenue, Philadelphia. If you want to see all the listings of hold on, Joanna Jane. We're going to go back to that. If you want to see all the listings of the budget town halls that she's having, go to phila.gov/2025. Just go to phila.gov and look for the budget because this is a whole lot here that's going on here that we're trying to figure it out. Why are you not opening this thing for me? Uh,
Are the budgets listed with public comment as well, or is this just where she's going
the town
to?
halls, these are the
Yes.
town halls. She's going into the community to have the town hall conversations with folks. But when we have Anthony Phillips on Friday, we're going to have a discussion. Remember, he's going to come back and just
Yes.
focus on housing right now, and we'll be ready. So yeah. Tiffany says, "Man, I'm allergic to nuts and peanuts." And
Granola.
Marguerite says, yeah,
Granola.
granola. Most canned things are already cooked, no cooking needed. Yeah, so that's why we
That's
tell
right.
them to you just open it up and, do what you need to do. And you got to learn how to eat without all the niceties and the napkins and the, things laid out. And we'll see what the restaurants will do when all of this is going on because people will be
Close.
in their house. Yeah, I listened to Randy and I do believe quite a few of them are going to end up, either merging or closing because people are not going to be able to just come out and they're talking about National Guard in the streets, Also, life is, I would be
Uh,
grateful if none of this happened. How about that?
it would be wonderful, and it would be my best prayer. But we live in today,
Yeah.
and so I'm telling you to prepare for today and for yesterday. The thing which is interesting about many people who are apartment dwellers also is that you guys live on floors that are not number one or two or three. They're
Right.
4, 5, 6, up to 20 something. And so think about, if there's no electricity, there's also no elevator, which means whatever you need to do needs to be prepared to stay upstairs,
Stairs. Yeah.
which means you don't have air conditioning because you can't plug it into anything.
Right.
Right. So these are the things about which you don't have refrigeration. That's electricity. You don't have these other sorts. So things about, if today when you walk around your house, think, is it running on electricity? And if it's running on electricity, what happens if it's gone?
Yeah.
So in the summertime, which is what we're going towards, in the springtime, which was 70 some odd degrees the other day, what
Right.
happens when it's 70 some odd degrees and you have no air and you
Right.
cannot turn on fire, and there is no such thing as water being pumped into your house because the pump
Hmm.
is electric?
Yeah.
Where do you get your water?
Right.
Right. So what happens, if the very first thing is, as soon as there is the first hint of bomb or this or that or any sort of thing, you go grab your trash can,
Hmm.
you dump it out, you fill it with bath water. Every
Hmm.
trash can you can find, you fill with
Hmm.
bath water. You put
Hmm.
one cap full of bleach for every
Bleach.
gallon of
Hmm.
water, right? And then you let that sit for one day so the bleach can absorb, and you just stir it, right? And I think, and I just want to be sure that's correct. I think it's one cap full of bleach
It
for
is.
every gallon of water.
Hmm.
And you put that in huge trash can, right? That is your drinking water. One trash can is drinking water. One trash can is bathing water. Right? That's how you survive,
Hmm.
because you won't
Hmm.
be able to use the tap anymore. So you
Right.
use a bowl, you take the water out, you wash in the bowl, you discard the water.
Hmm.
That's it,
Hmm.
right?
And
You put that.
I have a rain barrel that I
That's it.
use too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You can take that dirty water that you use, don't throw it out,
Hmm.
put it into another bucket, because when you need
Hmm.
to flush your toilet, you're going to take that dirty bucket and
Hmm.
flush your toilet.
Hmm. Hmm.
This
Hmm.
is how you survive. I'm
Hmm.
so grateful for the time I spent in Cape Town, South Africa, in which we had to learn these things in order to be in the
Hmm.
Krisani villages, because the villages sometimes didn't have running water, and
Right.
sometimes you had to do things to get things. So
Hmm.
these are the truths of survival that many people around the world have experienced all the time,
Hmm.
that we
All the time.
Americans just have been so lucky to not have to
Hmm.
live in
Hmm.
that type of time. We've been peacetime. These are things that we need to do now.
Hmm. Hmm.
These are the preparedness things for now.
Agreed. You just gave me an idea about filling the trash cans, and just remember, you know, for people who don't have, you just have to think differently. For people who don't have homes, like, so I'm thinking about getting a couple of trash cans and filling them and sitting them in the backyard. Just let them sit there to use for washing dishes, for flushing the toilet. But we also have huge 5 gallon jugs that I've been buying years ago. I bought them about 5, 6 years ago, and I've been filling them with water for
Yeah.
cooking, etc. Right?
Listen, and the
Um,
water won't go out. You're gonna know when you have to fill this. You don't have to go fill
yes,
it now, right?
yes,
When the sky is falling, it'll be very evident. The first thing
yes,
you do when the sky is falling is turn on your bathtub, and you
yes,
fill every
yes.
can, and then you lock your bathtub and you fill the bathtub. You
Mm-hmm.
fill every vat that holds water with water.
Mm-hmm.
First thing
Mm-hmm.
you do. And you put them in every bucket, every container. You take that bleach and you put the cap full of bleach into all those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing
Mm-hmm.
you do.
Mm-hmm.
Water security, because you cannot survive without water.
Without water. We have said this a
Water is the
thousand
problem.
times. Yep.
Yeah, two,
We
three
can
days
live
without
without
water
food.
and it's done.
Yes.
Food, you
Yes.
can go for a couple weeks.
Yes.
It'll be very painful, but you can go without.
Yeah.
Water, you cannot go without.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. David,
Um,
we've been talking about this for months. You think
Nobody
it finally
listens.
clicked?
I I don't know. What I do know is this: if we did not talk about this, I would not be able to live with myself, knowing that X, Y, and Z came through to my email and came through to yours and came through to
Mm-hmm.
people that are in the know. And if we just didn't share it, I would
Mm-hmm.
feel like we really were bad people. So I say to you, go to the lifeboat, because I know that's where you need to go. Now, if you choose not to go, that's your business.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
don't say to me, I didn't tell you. Don't tell a mother that you didn't tell.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we're saying you need to do in order to be ready. Now, all this is very dystopic. One of the things you want to put in your emergency plan is board games and a deck of cards and a
Yes, my husband
journal.
have been playing. My husband have
And
been playing the games, and
these are the times where you have to put all
yeah.
that together, because
Mm-hmm.
you're still going to need to be able to survive in some
Mm-hmm.
way which is happy. Your
Mm-hmm.
sewing kits, your whatever
Mm-hmm.
else, your
Mm-hmm.
your needlepoint, get all that together,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
It's a
Um,
lot. It's a lot going on
but
over here.
do not let me catch not one of your dark tone behind out there on the road fighting. Don't let me catch you outside. Don't let me do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, and
Secure your own house.
I know there were a group of brothers. I saw one. Where was I? I was downtown the other day with Antoine, and we were sitting in Whole Foods, just talking. And this brother walked in a militia, like, he had on a t-shirt, but you could tell he was some sort of militia. So I looked at him. He said, "You right," and he just walked on by. So I think the men are out here planning their own stuff. But what I'm loving is that they're very quiet, and it's for protection, not to be out in the
Yes.
streets doing
Ladies,
all
get
this
your
other
men.
stuff.
They go get your men. Tell your men, protect the home, protect the community, the perimeter of the community, but do not leave the
Mm,
community.
yeah,
There,
yeah,
people, when things get bad, the next thing that happens is people loot, right? When they
yeah.
start starving and they run out of their own cans, they come to your house to get yours.
Hmm.
So I say, yes, protect your own space.
Hmm.
Don't go outside your door to protect somebody else's.
Right, right.
Protect your own peace,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Lock
yeah.
your stuff up. Treat your cans of food like diamonds, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
You want to put something
Um,
in the safe, put your food in the safe.
you know, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to you for, you know, beginning the conversation with me, because you actually joined me one morning when I began telling you all this is what we need to do. And that was in November. And everybody was like, "You're being too much. This can't possibly happen. These are the United States of America. We have laws in place. We have three branches of government." And this was around November 15th, right? And I said, either you are dense and you believe what you believe, or you just refuse to see what's in front of you. This entire government that we're in right now told us exactly. I mean, before President Trump became president, Elon Musk was telling us it's going to be a painful time for all of you. And then they were like, "Well, what could he possibly do?"
For those of you, by the way, with X or Twitter, now it's X, push, push, push in Wisconsin the dangers of the election if it should be Republican. Push, push, push. Because what they do is they try to push down those numbers. So the more people that constantly push out, the higher the numbers will get. The more people who are voting today in Wisconsin
Okay.
about that Supreme Court justice is going to be
Mm-hmm.
huge, because that Supreme Court justice will be the one that allows these things to happen and or not. So those higher courts, the judges are the things that Trump is
Yes.
most concerned with, because he knows it's only stop, it's only job. You can
Yes.
get the judges. It doesn't matter what anyone says. The buck stops with the judges. So push, push, push against
And
that.
anything that happens before the main primaries, the primaries, there will be no elections to go do what we're supposed to do if anything happens before then. So
There'll be no election.
we are asking you to just be prepared. And every week that I'm talking to you about doing what you need to do, I hear something else. We talk about something else. Melissa, tell us why we should get bone broth. I have bone broth in my house. But tell us why we should get bone broth, because in your opinion. Um, because I think folks are becoming are becoming more armed too. I talked about being in Delaware Sunday, and the group of men saw me sitting in my car, and they started talking about monkeys and making sure you have your papers, and this DEI stuff. And I was like, "Oh, is that where we are right now? Ain't nothing happened yet, and we just, so we can't just take it for granted that as we're out in the streets, we're going to be okay. It's a lot happening. I
Donald Trump has already, by executive order, said that federal elections will require valid IDs, valid and up to date IDs, right? What is
And when
considered
you think,
valid?
but when do you think about the people who haven't been able to locate their birth certificate, don't even know where their social security card is, can't get a real ID as a direct result of that? What's going to happen to them? We make these assumptions that you're a United States citizen, you have all these things. What about the people who were formerly incarcerated that came out that don't have any of their papers? What happens to them?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
happens to them? Right? There's a guy from JP Morgan Chase who was a retiree from JP Morgan Chase, a CFO, who has been tracking the flights, the deportation flights. He says there's 267 of them so far. And, they were doing them through regular flights. And when they realized what he was doing, they started using military flights to deport folks all over the place. And so they're also saying that this really wasn't about immigrants. It was about dissidents. Anybody that said anything bad about this government, anyone that journalists are on the table, all sorts of things. You know, your social media posts are problem. If they're a problem, they're putting you out of your own country and putting you in internment camps. We kept talking about concentration camps, and we were like, that was 1942 with the Japanese. Can't happen here,
Oh,
right?
yes.
And right, and so it's happening here, and other countries have brought in. Marco Rubio was in Jamaica and a few days ago, and everybody's asking, well, what's happening? And the pledge that came out of him was that they were going to make sure that not enough that they were going to stem the flow of gun violence in Jamaica by stopping the guns from coming out of the United States and going there. I don't know. We're all to start. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm using a tempo of my voice so as not to frighten you, or as you're listening to me, and I'm allowing David to speak, so that we can absorb some of what's going on and that you can learn as you move along, because there is going to come a time when we are all going to go dark. There will be no David, no me, no, and then what Facebook is now doing is every 30 days they erase the videos. Right. So I am on a
Wicked.
platform that allows me to keep my videos, and it goes out to YouTube. So far so good. But if even YouTube shuts down, my platform allows me to keep what I have. So, these are the things that we're talking about. Um,
So, if I could say the thing that I think you need to do today, right? The steps for today. What do I do today? You call your family, the ones that you love, your friends that you love, and you say to them, now is the time to prepare. Not yesterday, do it today. Go to the grocery store, go to the dollar store, get your cans, get your stuff, get your provisions. Now is the time to make sure that you have all your paperwork. If you didn't do it the last time, we yelled and screamed that you do it today,
mhm, mhm,
right? And you call everyone that you love in life and you
mhm,
say, you really yesterday was the time, but I'm calling you to say there may not be another opportunity to tell you this.
mhm,
Because one of the things that will happen, and the reason why I tell you to stay your behind at home, is because in previous administrations, when people march against the government, it's a peaceful protest that we allow.
mhm,
If a January 6th like situation were to break out, the government of the day would shoot those people
mhm,
and would murder them, and we'd have Bloody Sunday, and we'd have beginning of civil war in
mhm,
America,
mhm,
right? That is not an unreal possibility. We watched what
mhm,
happened when a fraction of Donald Trump's supporters went to buildings of governance, to the Capitol, invaded the Capitol, murdered people, and
mhm,
tried to hang their own Republican vice president on a
mhm,
gallows they set up on the steps outside.
mhm,
Those same people are the people who have been targeted and badly treated because they were told that it was going to be brown people and immigrants, and it became them.
mhm,
And they're now angry. So when they go to the Capitol this time, or to the White House this time, to whatever else, the reason why I'm telling
mhm,
you not to go with them is because I don't want you to be a part of the mess that they're going to
mhm,
start when they are shot. And I want you to protect
mhm,
your peace and your family and those who you love at home, in your
mhm,
bed.
mhm,
Live that
mhm.
soft life on that day.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yes, what you can do today is call the people that you love, and you can go to that grocery store and get the things. And I wish that I could come and talk to you about happier and more brilliant topics on days like
Yeah.
Tuesday. But unfortunately, these things were happening
Mm,
in lifetime over the weekend. These things are happening today. The tariffs that are going into effect are going to cause the markets to do a spiral. So, if you did not listen to me before about going to the bank and
mhm,
getting your stuff out of the bank, get your money from the bank.
mhm, mhm. It's a lot
Go get
going
it
on.
out.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Shoebox life is a real good life.
yeah, yeah. Listen, thank you, David, so much for joining us, my brother. It's always a pleasure. We're getting ready to end this broadcast, but I just want to always remind you that, there's always faith, prayers, and movement. Use your faith, but also move. Don't just sit frightened and coward. It feels like it should not be happening, but it is
In the spirit
happening.
of Eid,
So yes,
tie
right.
your camel
So
and trust Allah.
there you go. And as Dr. Pinkett says, what do you love to do? What are you good at doing? What does the world need? And what can you get paid for? Out of every one of these things, um, at the end of it, when reconstruction is happening, is when people make the most money. So you survive this thing, you'll be all right. Just figure out ways to survive by doing what we're asking you to do. Prepare your families, prepare yourselves, make sure everybody is okay. Um, Season 2 finale of the A Lawful Truth podcast is Philly Freeway. You can find it on Substack. You can find it on Spotify and on Apple. I want to thank all of you who have supported us. Marguerite says you've only been around for 4.5 months with this podcast. We're 22 episodes in. Play with us if you wanna. And we're getting the work done. And so we're just grateful to all of you, everyone who has subscribed, who have been paid subscribers, free subscribers. We ask that you continue to share. This is how we're going to be able to get some of the word out about things that are happening around us. But these interviews are fantastic. I'm imploring you to share and tag us, tag A Lawful Truth or tag me as you share these episodes, especially the one with Philly Freeway. It is Organ Donation Month. He will be in New York City tomorrow with Albie Shore and with oh my God, Al Sharpton, to talk about organ donation. Listen to the podcast, share it, give me your feedback as I have been getting. I so appreciate all of you, David. A pleasure, my brother. We'll talk soon, okay? This episode of Mornings with Mova is officially over. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye, darlings. Bye, David.